Welcome back to the brewery. Well, it's been some time since we spoke, so I suppose there's no way you should have known. But there's no brewery. The brewery is all in storage. We're in the process of moving house, so everything is packed up, everything is in storage, everything is in a lull. Once we get to the new place, the plans are to set up a new brewery, to set it up, of course, bigger, better, nicer than before. Um, some of that will be budget dependent, so we'll see how that goes. But what it has done is it's given me time to contemplate a bit about what the brewery should be, why I have a brewery, I suppose, is more the pertinent question. Um, I often joke that I have a brewing problem, not a drinking problem, and that is partly just a handy joke, but partly that does explain it. I don't drink a huge amount of alcohol. I like brewing beer for the process, for the science, for the hobby of it. Um, One of my challenges is to dispose of the amount of beer that I brew. So I always have to hand stuff out or dispose of it otherwise. If a brew is not perfect, I'm quite happy to tip it down the sink, or in my case, throw it in the still and, at least retrieve the alcohol, make some vodka, make some gin. But at the end of the day, it's the same problem. Whatever I end up with is not the point of the hobby. A big part of having the brewery for me is to have my own space, a space where I can spend time, where I can think, where I can research stuff, where I can spend time on brew day, be away from the rest of the family for a little bit, which all sounds a lot more negative than it is. But that's important to have my space where I can do whatever I want. Anyway, so all of that going on in the back of my head. In the meantime, in terms of the actual brewery, I think it's time to really take another look at all the equipment that I use and decide which of those really need to be there going forwards. What am I going to focus on? What am I going to get rid of? What am I just going to maybe keep but use less? And what do I really want to replace some of them with? The brewing system that I use, most of you will know, it's a Grandfather G40 primarily. I really like that still. I wish it was a bit smaller. If they made the G30 in the same design as the G40, I think that would have been my ideal brewing kettle, brewing system. But they don't. I don't like the G30 design. I never have, which is why I bought the G40 the moment they came out. But again, my challenge generally is to make smaller and smaller batches. So the G40 is maybe a touch on the big side. So we'll put that one on the shelf for now. I'll keep on using it. I might have another look at a smaller system going forwards. In terms of fermenters, I have a range. Anything from plastic buckets to plastic fermenters. I have a couple of sort of real purpose built, pressure capable plastic fermenters. I have plastic barrel. And then I now also have a Brewtech stainless steel brew bucket, which is great, but it doesn't do pressure. So all of my fermenters are sort of okay, but not exactly where I'd love to end up. Ultimately, I suppose what I'd love to have are some nice stainless steel, glycol jacketed, pressure capable unit tanks. And those are obviously available at fairly decent investment. But it'll be fighting for that investment with a whole lot of other stuff, such as setting up the whole brewery, which starts with building a shed. So it's not going to be a cheap exercise, and spending money on flashy stainless steel might push those towards the bottom end of the list. So I'll see how far I can push the plastic fermenters first, sort of work on adding all the bits and pieces that I need. Specifically, dry hopping is a pain in the posterior. So I have added some stuff, haven't used it in anger. I really need to try that out, play with that a little bit. But we'll come to those. I'll show you what I've got. We'll go through the process together. You can all tell me what I'm doing wrong. But ultimately, one of my ideals is to make a nice hazy. We'll circle back to beer styles. Then there's some other generic brewing equipment that I'm using, from cooling to my pH meter. Probably needs a good look at to see if that's the best way to do stuff. Measuring sugar, measuring specific gravity, measuring alcohol, all that stuff. Part of this is the whole still, making sure if what I'm doing on the still is still what I really want to be doing, maybe upgrading some of those bits, upgrading the way that I can use to age spirits on oak. There's some really nice solutions out there. Also, again, needs a bit of money spent on it. But anyway, so part of the new brewery, we'll go through. The new brewery will take a little bit of time to set up. So we'll have time to go through all of that in the first instance, go through all the equipment, talk a little bit about what I've learned using that equipment, how I feel about the equipment now in hindsight, whether I want to keep it, whether I want to invest more into it, and yeah, open to any information that other people have. If there's something I should be looking at, tell me. If I'm doing it wrong, I'm sure you'll tell me anyway. If I'm doing it right, just tell me, because then we can all put it to bed and move on. One of the things that I really want to look at is serving beer. So far, my serving has been very homemade, drill some holes in the front of an old fridge that I picked up secondhand, put some taps in, kind of worked, kind of didn't work great. So this time around I might just go for a purpose-made kegerator. Floor space will be more important this time around, so something that I can serve 3 or 4 beers out of a fairly small footprint would be ideal. So we'll definitely have a look at that. That's probably enough for now. If there's anything else I should be looking at, feel free to tell me. I'm sure you will anyway. There's no way I can stop you guys telling me, is there? Anyway, have an awesome day.